Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 13 of What If Naruto was told about the Uzumaki Clan from the beginning. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto had the ultimate nature bloodline over an Anime King 3 and enjoy that guys. And also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was Uchiha X Namikaze over an Anime King 2 and enjoy that guys. And also remember, if you're new in this first time hearing my voice, yes, I have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day, so you guys can go ahead and check out that and enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, what is we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last spot we left off, Naruto's apartment exploded as his charred body was taken as Navi was trying. She was trying to feel any sign of life, pulse, anything, but there was nothing. He was gone. Jiraiya's world was spinning as Jiraiya was lost. He was lost as he just stood there empty as he couldn't believe that Naruto was gone. Later that night, as Sakura went to inform Sasuke, but Sasuke didn't seem to care, as she told him that they were gonna have the others meet up at Naruto's favorite food spot, and if he wasn't the cool person that she thought he was, he'll be there. So with that, she made her way off, as Navi and Jiraiya went out to drink. The both of them kind of blamed themselves, as they thought that Naruto committed suicide, seeing that they could not do anything to his body because there were seals all over it. 2 years then passed after that as we dive into a flashback, as Hiruzen was talking to Yujiro, as he told her that he had a choice to make on whether or not Naruto stay in Konoha, and it was a rather difficult choice and didn't know what to do, but he will have to make up his mind sooner or later, because Naruto loved his clan, and if the Uzumakis resurfaced, and he knew they will, as Hiruzen was thinking about the future, Naruto would go with him. In the past 2 years, a lot had happened in the Elemental Nation, although right now the Stone and Kumo were in some hassle, as Oniki was currently arguing with the Raikage. Things weren't looking good for them, as no one was really focused on Uza anymore. Well, they were focused on Uza, but they weren't attacking it or anything. Sasuke has picked up the guardianship of protecting Konoha. He even had sights of becoming Hokage, but Snappy think that he was too young to even think about that right now. But he was doing a wonderful job in helping the people. But still, she was hating the fact that the way he dismissed Naruto's death like it was nothing, as it pained her, but she was trying to move on. She was trying to continue living. Jiraiya took it hard, but he was also trying to keep a level head at Uza, as Naruto was alive and well. For the past 2 years he has been at Uza, as a lot of things had changed, as we were introduced to his wife, one of them were carrying, as she didn't want to return back yet to start popping out babies for the clan, because she knew that she would have to do that. It seems that Naruto had been in a lot of relationships already. After all, as the head, Uzumaki Clan head, it seems like he was gonna have multiple wives. As they made their way towards the sand in a new creation of Uza as they flew towards the village. As Gaara was shocked to see Naruto alive, Temari was furious as Naruto went to talk to her. As she hit him, she punched him over and over again because he didn't inform her, but Naruto pulled her into a hug afterwards, as he apologized for causing her pain. We then skipped towards Naruto going back to his ship as he spoke to Gaara. The situation with Temari was a bit tense, but he will sort it out. Right now the Elemental Nation are going to know. Everyone is going to know who the Emperor was, because Naruto Uzumaki was on the move. And he didn't seem like he was about to slow down anytime soon. So yeah guys, so basically last we left off, you guys can switch across the PlayStation to yourself. So let's begin this new episode. We begin this new episode with a flashback, as Hiruzen was looking at the danger sign at Naruto's door. There was indeed danger inside, not in the way the villagers thought. There was something more dangerous than anyone could even imagine. Naruto was not like Kyuubi. He was never a beast, never a monster. But Hiruzen had come to learn that Naruto has a dangerous mind. A dangerous, devious mind. As he could compare Naruto's passion towards Uzumaki to Orochimaru's lust over immortality. Perhaps Naruto's goal was greater though. He had the patience to wait for years, because there was nothing happening. It has just been over 2 years since they went to Usa, the greatest blunder of Hiruzen's life. But Naruto looked so innocent, and he had acted innocently, so Hiruzen decided to take him there. Hiruzen never thought that things would change. He never thought that there was still members of Uzumaki Clan alive. Itachi though had said he came across one of them. Hiruzen sighed as he opened the door. He did not knock this time, as the apartment was dark. But he knew, while other kids were sleeping, this person was not. As he entered, it was just as he expected. Those blue eyes looking at him. As Naruto sat by the window, as Hiruzen felt a chill went down his spine. As the look, it looked so cold. Naruto, we need to talk, said Hiruzen. As Naruto turned away and faced outside the moon, it was at full force. Preferably. I would have wished for things to never come to this point, old man, said Naruto. So did I, Naruto, said Hiruzen. But when I lied to you about space-time ninjutsu, I knew I messed up. It was a stupid mistake on my part. A massive blunder that I could have avoided by telling you the truth. But you possess a mind that I fear. Still, it would have been much better to tell you the truth than be caught lying, said Naruto in a flat tone. I have also lied to you, Naruto, Hiruzen said. Perhaps I underestimate your ability to read in between the lines, but I never thought the Uzumakis would still be around. Honestly, if I had known, I wouldn't have taken you to Uza. No doubt, said Naruto. What do you want to talk to me about, old man, he said. The Uzumakis, and if you have connection with them, no. At this point, it's likely that you do have a connection with them. There might have also been something in the whirlpools that I did not see. Your clan is good with Fuinjutsu. They can even create barriers of Fula Dojutsu. You're probably learned that jutsu to travel between here and there, isn't it? Do you hate Konoha? What are you planning with them, Naruto? I was hoping that we wouldn't have this conversation until I was ready, but it seems there is no avoiding it. However, if I agree to talk to you, you cannot write to anyone, talk to anyone, or leave notes to anyone regarding me or the Uzumakis. Here's in his eyes. What's that supposed to mean? We're going to keep this thing between us, said Naruto. And if I don't happen to like that, Hiruzen said, Konoha does not love me, and I do not care a damn for it. My father may have sacrificed himself for this village, but I don't give a damn about it. They have tormented me, day and night. They have accused me of being evil, the child of a demon, and blame me for what happened in the village. I will not forget that. I will not just get up and work for this village, when I'm supposed to bring my own clan from the shadows back into greatness. Hiruzen has never heard Naruto speak like that before. He was worried. Naruto, you have to understand. They're just angry. Do not take those excuses with me. Third, said Naruto, I respect you. Don't make me lose that respect by telling me irrational things. They're angry and sad. You can understand that, right? But you don't condone their behavior. Then, it is very simple, old man. If you can apply those same standards to them, then you can apply to me. I have every reason to be angry with them as well. Tell me, what have I done? What have I done to them to deserve all of this? Hiruzen could not say anything because there was nothing that Naruto had done. Nothing. You have not done anything wrong. And I'm sorry for what has happened. I told you about your clan because I wanted to give you identity. And I found it, said Naruto. My words to you will not change. Nothing of this will be told to anyone. And you have my word as thank you, as what you have done for me. Although I will never forget what this village has done to me. I will not attack it. Not unless it decides to attack me, said Naruto. You are threatening to leave, Naruto, said Hiruzen. I don't think even you have the arrogance to believe that you can do any harm to this village. As Hiruzen released a bit of killing intent, as he looked towards Naruto sternly to get his point across. Frightening, said Naruto, as Naruto placed his hand on his stomach. I have learned enough about this village to understand that you're the only one, aside from Jiraiya, that knows a lot about Fuinjutsu. But the Sannin is not in the village. If I feel there is no point of living anymore. He snapped his finger as a bit of the fox chakra was released. Hiruzen froze. The Kyuubi can have another feast. I know that you're not gonna have me re-educated because of what I've spoken. I know. You're a genius. And I cannot match that, said Naruto, openly saying that, said Hiruzen, as he lessened his killing intent. The Uzumakis are indeed alive and watching. They're probably already in this village. I understand you well enough that you wouldn't say that to me unless you know. You can guarantee your way of getting out. Space-time ninjutsu afford you that mobility. Tell me, what do you want to do with the Uzumaki Clan, Naruto? I don't want war with anyone. I just want to raise it back from dead and bring it back to greatness, said Naruto. And what about those responsible for the fall of a clan? I have more reason to hate Konoha than those who are responsible for the destruction of my clan, said Naruto. I can't trust your promise and you can't trust my words, but we can trust the majestic promise of Fuinjutsu, can we not? In the flashback, Konoha, a airship belonging to Uzu. This represent aerial attack from Uzu. This was dangerous news. It was gonna get village like Kumo and the Stone panicking. People were gonna die. The Shinobi world was standing in front of chaos and the Uzumakis, they were fueling it. There was no need to show it off like this unless they wanted people to see it. They wanted the Shinobi world to start talking and thinking about their new toy. Everyone would be feeling threatened by this power. This was nothing like what this Sky Nation had done. This was different, more dangerous. This was doom. Snavy no understand why Koyoki had went to Uzu. Her village had participated in building that thing. She had been used. Uzu had been in lockdown because they were hiding things. She should have demanded more information, she laughed bitterly. If Danzo was alive, he would have been laughing at her right now. He would have been telling her that she should listen to him to avoid the situation. But who would have thought things would have turned out like this? As she looked at the message that came from the hidden sign once more, everything was so clear but her mind was failing to accept it. Jiraiya was dead silence for a long while until he spoke. I should have known. How could you, said Snavy as she looked towards him. The signs, they were all there. I was just naive. I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to see another path. Is there something I'm missing, said Snavy. Is there something that happened during the training trip that set off your thoughts that you did not tell me? No, said Jiraiya as he shook his head. There was nothing that could have told me otherwise. Then what am I missing, she asked. He didn't appear like he had any connections. If he had them, he fooled us all. We were all fooled, she said, as she slammed her fist into the desk, cracking it. She was pissed off. She was angry. She received a message from Gaara saying that Naruto was very much alive. The damn brat that she cried for. The damn brat that she buried, he was alive. He has been in Uzu for the past 2 years, while they cry at his death. It made Snavy very angry. What has she done to deserve this? He fooled her, he tricked her, and now he was on the side of another village. The man that they were searching for in the last couple of years, Uzu Emperor, was right in front of them the entire goddamn time. He was playing them this entire time. Yeah, he got us, said Jiraiya. And he had helped the blonde train. No, there was still so much that he didn't know about Naruto or his skills. But what did you mean by saying that you should have seen it? Our visit towards the hidden rain. After that visit, Naruto did mention that the best way to disappear without people searching for you was to play dead. And it seems like he meant those words. He played the same trick. We had his body. We saw him dead. We weren't gonna look for him because his body was here. That was indeed death. He planned this, he wanted this. Haku was also returned from the dead. So they have this way of doing it, which I don't know. Snavy frowned. We couldn't even do much to his body because of the seals. Jiraiya nodded. I think those are also in place to keep the Kyuubi from leaving. The seal would have weakened over the years. It was already weakened because Naruto was using the beast chakra. He knew that he would return, so he provided countermeasures. And he also didn't want us to study his body. Why would he go such length? I'm not sure, Haim, said Jiraiya. Jiraiya was angry. He had mourned the blonde. And now he was back. He didn't see them, he just flew above them. One thing's for certain, he didn't want us to look for him. I cannot understand that, she said. But even if she did understand, what does it mean? It meant nothing. But now that he's showing himself, does it mean that he's done what he's been doing for the past couple of years? Jiraiya nodded. And it worries me, he said. As Naruto would not show himself, he was cautious, and Jiraiya knew that. So he was probably done with what he was doing, and he was ready to face the world. It would be stupid not to worry. What do you think he's up to, said Snavy. I have no idea. Our time together he hid his thoughts rather well. He never showed his true desires, or what he wanted. Do you think Sensei knew? Unlikely, said Jiraiya. Sensei loved Konoha more than anything. He would have made sure that one of us knew. And he would have tried something. Then, how did this happen? How did he become the emperor? How did he do all of this right under our nose? That is something we will have to ask him, said Jiraiya. Do you really think that he will come here to answer questions with how he is? Do you think he wants a war? I don't know, but I know he's been preparing for it. The Hidden Rain has been preparing as well. But they don't have to do anything once this news is fully out. The Stone and Komo will make the first attack. Snazzy knew that they were preparing for a war, but if she could avoid one, she would gladly avoid it. War was not a nice thing. People died, people mourned, people suffer. It was not good at all. We must talk to him as soon as possible. Him showing up now, people will start to move. They're going to act soon and we want to know how Uzo will react. Yeah, said Jiraiya. Well, Gar did say that both of them are still friends. It's understandable with the sand, but what I know is the Whirlpool has a problem with what was done in the past and Konoha might be at fault. He always asks me a lot of questions about this. Why? Why, even if Konoha and Uzo were allies, why didn't the Uzumaki seek shelter here? Why didn't they come to Konoha? Why didn't they ask for help? Tsunade was silent. She wanted to believe that Naruto had no problem with them, that he would not go to war with them, but another part of her mind was telling her to wake up. How strong is he? She asks. You saw him playing with his friends. They weren't even a good match for him. He's powerful. I can't tell exactly how powerful because he's never released his full strength against me or shown me what he's fully capable of. Tsunade nodded. At least there was still Sasuke. Regardless of her thought and his personality, he was Konoha's most treasured asset. How did things even come to this point though? Well, this just confirmed it, said Jiraiya. It's obvious that Sensei took Naruto to Uzo, but there must be someone else. Someone else that Sensei trusted that he would have brought. And what if that person is dead, said Tsunade. Before Jiraiya could say anything, Sasuke flashed into the room in a lightning sunshine. Is it true? He asked. Tsunade stared at him for a long moment. Before she nodded. Naruto has returned from the dead, and he has returned as Uzo Emperor. Sasuke frowned deeply. It would have been much safer if he had stayed dead. You don't like him very much, do you? Of course not, Sasuke was quick to say. He turned towards Jiraiya. You should know already. My brother had some moments with Naruto. What you don't know is that Itachi was there when Naruto and the third went to Uzo. He told me that they did not find anything. It was just ruins. But it was possible that Naruto found some Uzumaki there. Why didn't you say anything before? It didn't matter because he was dead. What are we gonna do now? We're going to defend the Hidden Leaf, said Tsunade. Meanwhile, Training Room 44. Kakashi arrived to see Yuji was sitting alone in a tree. Yo. Senpai, she said. I was surprised when I received your message. You never call me out like this. Is there something wrong? Can you stop calling me Senpai? I'm no longer your captain. I'm Kakashi now, he said. You will always be my senpai, she said. Kakashi sighed. It was the same with Yamato. I was talking with Tsunade-sama. She showed me a message from the sun. I think you already know about it. Yes. Is that why you call me? She asked. No. I want to know about your relationship with Naruto. I don't have a relationship with him. I don't know what the third did with Naruto, but he didn't trust Naruto to other people. But I'm almost certain that you knew certain things. Yes. But I cannot say them. What I can say though, he is not a threat to Konoha. He has never been a threat, and he never will be. Kakashi already knew that. If he had those thoughts, Naruto wouldn't stay in Konoha for that long. There was a reason why he stayed. Then, did you know that he was alive? I cannot answer that, she said. My role wasn't to know many secrets, but to make sure that the things unfold, just like the third wanted. This is the will of the third. Nothing matters unless it's for the good of Konoha. It still surprised me that the third will allow Naruto to leave, said Kakashi. Perhaps he realized he couldn't stop it, because of the choice that he made. So he just decided to do damage control. Talking to other people and spreading his plans would just put it into ruins. Well, it wasn't like he could talk about it or say anything about it, even if he wanted to. Time skip. At Uzo, Nagato appeared with Konan on his side. They were in hologramic images. As he looked around before facing Naruto. This wasn't the first time he was appearing here, before Naruto. He has known the blonde since Yoshino introduced them, and they share some, well, informations. This was a person that drove the rebirth the Uzumaki Empire, and tasked Yoshino with the job of gathering the wandering Uzumakis. Had it not been for them, Nagato would have been under the control of that man that talked like Uchiha Madara and pretended to be him, but he was not. Obito was just a man who was on a cruel mission of enslaving the entire world. Genjutsu. Placing all humans in Genjutsu. Where was the peace in that? At that point, no one would be alive. The entire human population would be left without a conscience. But he had been free from that illusion, and now Nagato was after something that could actually earn him peace. Have you already gone out? Nagato asked, as Naruto nodded before he turned towards Konan. Lady Angel, it's always a pleasure to see you, he said, as Konan shook her head to that greeting. He always greeted her that way, especially when they were in Hiruzen. He greeted people differently. Well, they were more than friends. They were family, weren't they? You look well, Naruto, she said. There's nothing to complain about. When you're at home, said Naruto. It was your choice to be away from home, she said. As Naruto shook his head, everyone seemed like to remind him what he has been doing was his doing. Has Zetsu made an appearance, he asked. Nagato shook his head. Not since we took care of Obito. He has not. As Naruto frowned at that, this was worrying. There was a player out there that he could not predict. In terms of physical prowess, there was nothing to fear from Zetsu. But when they ambushed Obito and ripped him apart, Zetsu had disappeared. As Naruto didn't want anything to disturb his plans, he could not allow anything to arise. Tracking him down is not beer and any fruit either, said Naruto. I have stopped the search for him. If he wants to appear, he will appear, and we will be ready for him. For now, we have other things to worry about. Nagato nodded. Will Kumo and the stone stop their battles to focus on us? Yes. I have already taken out the airship in the open. We just have to wait and see how they react to this. If the reaction isn't good enough, we'll have to do other things. But all things considered, this should be enough to set them off. Then it is war, said Nagato. As Naruto nodded, yes, indeed war. And a war that we shall win. But we have to make sure the other players don't get involved in this war. We don't want to fight all the great nations. If we did that, there will be too many deaths in the Shinobi world. Those deaths will only give birth to pain and hatred, said Nagato. And we won't achieve anything. It will just give birth to meaningless conflicts. If things work out, we can be in a power to stop future wars from happening. At the same time, we must work to be careful to not show that we've grown too strong to make allies worry, said Konan. If we are too powerful, the cycle will repeat itself. That would be unfortunate, and I would have failed as my role as the Emperor of Ozu, said Naruto. Because we're starting this war, we shall not reveal all of our powers. If things remain this way, you shall take on the stone with Konan without the shinobis getting involved, and I will handle Kumo, said Naruto. This should keep some of your weapons hidden. We can deal with the stone, said Nagato. What about the future? We will handle that in a careful manner. I will go to Kier to try to win them over to our side. The sand seemed to be one. As long as we don't throw in the first stone, we should be fine with the other nations. Besides, we will only be defending ourselves, said Naruto as he smiled. Still, we must not be idealistic like Jiraiya was. Konan warned them. Of course, said Naruto, people always fight. There will always be conflict. As long as we live and remain unique, we will disagree. The problem now is there is no one to manage the conflicts. This is why there's always war and great nations do as they please. But we shall show them there's a consequence to actions, and evil shall be punished. The next day, Gorin watched the amused look as Haku checked Naruto to make sure he was properly looked like the Emperor. The ice user really cared for the blonde. There was not a doubt. I don't think the people that look after him would be too pleased with you, said Gorin. Haku shrugged. I just have to make sure, he said. But he seemed capable of handling himself though, said Gorin. It wasn't that he was a messy person. He wasn't messy at all, but his hair, he didn't seem to care for that much. Some days, it was just wild. It seems like he had just come out of a fight. I know, but I can't help it. Besides, we're going to an important meeting with the Mizukage. We have to look our part. His eyes turned towards the hair as he frowned. No matter what he did, Naruto did not allow him or anyone else to dictate what his hair looked like. Would you like to take over, said Naruto as he turned towards Gorin, a smile on his lips. I wouldn't mind if it was you. She looked at him for a moment before she shook her head no. I don't want to get killed by Karin. Naruto laughed. She wouldn't go that far. You don't know her, said Gorin. I've seen that woman when she's angry. Naruto shrugged. That is nothing. Although I did hear that my mother was also like that in her days. Do you think the Mizukage would like me? Gorin blinked. She was quite certain that he wasn't going to get the Mizukage to like him the way that he was saying it. It looked like he meant personal. One day, we are going to get into trouble because of such things. I wouldn't put the Empire into risk because of that, said Naruto. As he checked himself, let us go. Our ship is ready for us. As they made their way, it was silence until they reached the streets. As the people were there, Gorin soaked it all in. It wasn't every day that she get to walk like this with the Emperor. There was nothing better than this moment. Naruto was surely loved by his people. After they reached the gates, he teleported them towards the harbor, where ships were waiting for them. There was a small ship that was painted in crimson, the Emperor's small ship. As Gorin boarded the ship, as Naruto sat down in a large chair, as a captain, Doc. I thought Yoshino would see us, Gorin said. He's busy with other things, said Naruto. As he then frowned. Is something wrong? Asked Haku. The old fools that I picked up and convinced to start the village once more are not growing some spines, because the village has grown. Well, Yoshino has been theirs, but I didn't expect someone to openly say that he should have been the Emperor instead of me. He shook his head. They could have just done that while I was away. Haku was surprised on hearing that. I didn't think there was such politics in the Emperor's court. People always see things differently, said Naruto. You don't need people that will disagree with you in your own court. Orochimaru would have gotten rid of such people, and I would do the same. There's no telling what they will do behind your back. Naruto shook his head. If you do such things, you only lead by fear. You need people to cooperate with you to do something that will last. I don't need to have people fear me. I allow people to express their thoughts. I am not naive. Of course anything treasonous will be handled swiftly. But there is just a case of people disagreeing with you. I can't kill people for that, but I still expect them to follow my orders. Gorin shook her head. Well, you have us to watch your back, she said. Yes, said Naruto. What did Yoshino say about this? Haku asked. Yoshino was many things, but he would never betray Naruto. Well, we both laughed and asked the man if he was trying to lighten the mood, said Naruto. Of course he said he wasn't. We both were disappointed, but we did not approach him. Why would anyone want to remove you? I'm not a full-blooded Uzumaki like them, said Naruto. If it was up to me to revive the Uzumaki Clan, the only thing that would be revived was the name, the blood, would eventually die out. On the other hand, if I tried with another Uzumaki, Gorin looked curious. Naruto had the will to make everyone bend to his command. But he didn't do that, the people. He didn't want them to fear him. They were not afraid of pissing him off though. There was competition in the village. Perhaps that is the reason why he was so different from Orochimaru. Despite Naruto being a person to be so calm, she knew that under all that calm there was something lurking. But still the people, they say as they please, but they will never go out of their way to actually disagree with him when he gave an order. And for that, with the people doing as they please, there was no fighting, no war in the village. It was always peaceful. Yes, skirmish happened every now and then, but nothing more, nothing less. But you want to know, why do you permit this? Because he thinks it's more fun that way. He doesn't want people who just nod their heads and listen to his command. He wants people that are alive. Well, if it's more fun that way, why does he give you a problem? Said Gorin. It doesn't, said Naruto. It just annoys me when it comes at the wrong time. Some people fail to read the mood at sometimes. Well, this is how you make things. You shouldn't complain, Haku said. Besides, you're the Emperor. You can change things whenever you like. We'll see, said Naruto. Time skip. Kiri. Mei smiled when she saw the Emperor. She thought that it would be an old man. But no, it was a handsome young man. With a, well, charming smile on his lips. But he looked very familiar. She could not forget the image of Konoha Shinobi who died 2 years ago. Even so, she put on a smile as she greeted him warmly. Your Majesty, she said, as she greeted with a slight bow of her head, as she held out her hand. Mizukage-sama, said Naruto. I usually keep the hand shaking with man. As Mei tried to figure out his words, she saw his smile. As she understood what he meant. What do you usually do, she asked. With strong women, I usually like to be embraced by them. He took her hand, but for now, let me keep my hands to myself. Well, I wouldn't have minded either way, said Mei. I can see that. As he turned towards Haku, you didn't tell me I would enjoy my conversation with the Mizukage, Haku. I consider it, but I figured that you would get overexcited, and there are serious matters to discuss. You and Naoki need to get punished, said Naruto. But this is a good surprise. Perhaps we might get along, or maybe not. I hope we get along, said Mei. She was smiling, but there was a serious undertone in her voice. Likewise, Mizukage-dano, said Naruto. Shall we? I'm afraid we have a long journey ahead of us, and we will be quite busy over the next following weeks. I am certain of that, she said. Please, follow me. As Naruto's eyes glanced over the village, it had rebuilt itself quite well. He was talked about the buildings, the peace, despite the chaos that it was in a few years ago. When they arrived, Mei had the guards stay outside. Gorin and Haku did not object. It was only Mei guard that object, but it was quickly handled, as Naruto sat down in front of her. So you finally decided to meet me after all these years. I had almost given up hoping meeting you. All in good time, said Naruto. Well, you were still busy playing a shinobi of Konoha, as she kept a keen eye on him. There was that, but if there was a good time to meet you, I would have done so, said Naruto. Playing shinobis were quite fun though. I can't imagine, she said. He shrugged as he got straight to it. I'll get straight to it, Uzu. Wants to form an alliance with Kira. We have already ironed out trading deals, and I think we should move to the next step. Mei crossed her hands together. Why, she said. Why not, said Naruto. Mei blinked. She didn't expect that. Uzu's situation is unique, and we don't know your goal. While it is great to have an ally, Kira will not associate itself with just anyone. Oh, said Naruto, as he wasn't the least surprised. What are Uzu's intentions? Nothing bad, said Naruto with a wave of his hand. Uzu just desired to grow into a strong nation. Regardless, there will be enemies, and enemies will be crushed. Mei frowned. You say you have no bad intentions, but it looked like there will be war. It does look that way, and Uzu will defend itself and its allies. We will not allow history to repeat itself. I'm sure you don't want that, she said. But I believe you could have stopped the situation if you want to do it. You could have done things differently, but you did not. What do you think about war, Emperor? He tilted his head. War is bad. Really bad, he said. Mei stared at him. Can you take this a bit seriously, she said. She saw the look on his face. He looked rather amused as he spoke. Was this just a joke to him? She was talking about something that could claim the life of many people, and yet he looked so amused. You asked an interesting question. I have not seen war. I've never experienced it, but you have. You understand war better than me. People have different views on war. No one can disagree that would bring nothing but pain and hatred. You are asking me this question because you want to know if I will willingly throw the first stone to start a war, isn't it? You don't have to go that far, the situation is already tense. Your slightest movements can start trouble. But I think that Uzu's action so far has been calculated, and you're planning out everything just to start something. We're not that devious, Mei-san. It's fine if I call you that, right? Mei nodded. A person's thoughts about war are irrelevant. In most cases anyway, war is pain and suffering. That is it when you put it down to it. Shinobis, do what is right when there are only consequences. Shinobi villages tilt on right and wrong. When it comes towards your village, you're always right, and the others are always wrong. In any case, Uzu is a peace-loving nation, and we will not attack any nation. Anyone who has a problem with what we have been doing needs to be mentally checked for paranoia. We have not threatened or done anything against anyone. Those who feel threatened, they need to have themselves checked. And we will not apologize for growing our village. No one questions the great nations when they grow their strength. And we will not apologize for growing our home. And we will defend our home from anyone or anything. As Mei frowned hearing those words because they were so chilly. She knew if Uzu had the strength, they would not give mercy to anyone that tried to attack them. But she didn't want to get in the middle of things. Here, supply the ships. In Uzu's destruction, are we going to talk about that, she asked. This village has just seen a civil war. You are a peaceful nation, and what happened in the past has happened. You were not there when things happened. If you were there, we would have had a major problem. But it is a fact that this village did offer its assistance in our destruction. But, as I said, we want peace. That is why we want to form an alliance with you. Mei could tell that Uzu was dangerous, and she didn't want to make enemy with the nation. There was an agreement that I discussed with Aku, and then Yoshino. We could just add a few things on it, she said. You could have signed that deal with Yoshino. He is the leader of Uzu, and he's well within his right to make agreements. My agreement with you would be on the Uzumaki Empire, and that includes certain villages. The information is confidential, and we hope that keeps that way. Well, no wonder you're called the Emperor, she said. So, which villages are we talking about? You have the Hidden Rain, the Wave, and Netsuko village. And very soon, we shall add another, he said. Time skip. An hour later, Naruto had just left. He wasn't stupid. He was a smart man that knew what he was doing. She did not know the military strike of Uzu, or the power that it contained, but it was strong. As Ayo walked in the office, it seems like we have to prepare for war, she said. With Uzu, she shook her head. She doubted that Naruto wanted to go to war with them, but the Stone and Kumo. I don't know, but this world is heading into war, and we must be ready. The strange thing about it was, even if Naruto was going to go to war with those two villages, he never asked for any assistance. That begs the big question, what exactly does Uzu have? Time skip. At the Stone, Oniki couldn't help but curse at the recent report that he has just gotten. He didn't need to deal with this now, not when Kumo was just around the corner waiting for him to lose his edge, to rain down hell on them. On the surface, it looked like they found some common ground, but it was not the case at all. Their shinobis were not fighting because they knew 3 other nations being calm while they were fighting was unfavorable to them because the 2 of them will be weakened, and then they will be devoured by the others. He glanced up when Kurosaki came to the office. "What's with the hurry?" she said. "For a moment I thought you were dying." Oniki frowned. Could she read the mood? Or maybe she could and she was just saying this because of the mood. "I still have many years inside of me." "Obviously. Now, what's wrong? Has Kumo made a move on us?" Oniki shook his head. "For now, we can forget about war with Kumo. Because we have a common enemy." "Which enemy?" "Ozu." They have been silent over the past years. Have they finally moved? They have shown something that could be a problem a couple days ago. An airship has been seen flying over the Fire Nation and landed inside the sand. It belonged to the Whirlpool. Kurosaki frowned. Aerial attack. Has this thing shown any capabilities? It doesn't have to do anything. They just have to show that they have it and we will all jump. We're all thinking now at any moment they could just fly over us and drop bombs on us. That will devastate the village, and we couldn't even do anything to stop them. We have to do something then. Whether they attack us or not, this is just risky. Oniki laughed. That is exactly what they want. What do you mean? I mean that Ozu planned this, but it doesn't matter anyway. If it is war they want, it is war they will get. The Emperor has come out in the light. Who is it? Naruto Uzumaki. Kurosaki paused at that. That person, that indifferent blonde, Jinjulki, who got her drunk and then died before she could meet him again. Wait, he was dead. Wait, is Naruto Uzumaki dead? It turns out that he's very much alive, and he's indeed the Emperor of Ozu. He told her that he was not her enemy. Had he lied to her, she cursed in her mind. Well, I guess I can use my invitation now. He said that he wanted to be my friend. I could try and invite him. If he agrees to it, you must kill him, Oniki said. It must be away from Ozu. And you know what to do. He likes a drink. I will offer him something away from him, Kurosaki said. I know the perfect place, and I don't think that he will disagree. If he disagrees, you're not going anywhere near the village. I don't trust him, and I can't let you fall into enemy hands. Can you handle him? They said he was strong, but I'll handle him, grandfather, she said. When you do, we can think of invading Ozu, and we need to do it with Kumo. We can't afford to send man to Ozu while Kumo lurks. The moment we do that, they attack. Time skip, at Ozu. As Naruto's on his throne, Naoki and Neri were flanking both his sides. As Yoshino's in front of him with 40 Uzumakis. Lift your heads. Yoshino, tell me, what was the state of this place when I first came here? We were living in fear of another invasion from the outside world. We did not want to reveal ourselves because we were afraid. Yes, before you came here, the Uzumakis, we were a fearful people. Let that not leave you until you die, Yoshino. That does not exclude all of you. Remember where you were before I came to this village. Remember, and never forget. Tell me, Yoshino, who was it that encouraged you to start things from scratch and create this village? It was you, Your Majesty. Who was that laid the first stone for the empire to be built? It was you, Your Majesty. Who was it that gave you a mission to look for the other Uzumakis that were scattered across the elemental nation? It was you, Your Majesty. Who is your emperor? Naruto Uzumaki. Good, said Naruto. Then you remember what I said, that I will make Ozu a great nation. You remember that I said that the Uzumaki Empire will become great, greater than the 5 nations. We're heading there, but before we become the greatest, we must fight. We must go to war. You said that you will follow me to the pits of hell for greatness, and I expect nothing less. I will tolerate failure, but I will not tolerate cowards and incompetence. The Emperor will not tolerate man who run from battle. My man fear nothing, they fear no man, and they shall be victorious because I will lead them into battle for victory. We are not going to be destroyed, but we will win. We will become winners. We will become a great nation. We believe that, Your Majesty. This is why we fight for you. This is why we believe in you. Good, good, said Naruto. We're going to war soon. This group of 43 will be enough to crush a great nation. Those who attack us will know our power. The great nation will learn how to fear Uzumakis. The odds look like they might be against us, but we will be victorious. I will lead you into victory. Be ready, Uzumakis. Next time I summon you here, we will go into battle. We will be ready, Your Majesty, they saluted as they vanished from the throne room in a flicker of an eye. Once they were gone, Naruto relaxed. Acting like the Emperor's taxing, he said. I thought you were getting a kick out of it, said Naoki. You're usually playful, but that is your real side, isn't it? But if you joke around too much, people won't respect you. You lack a better understanding of respect, Naoki. If you're serious all the time, people will hurt to their knees every time they see you. They will no longer feel that sense of respect, but mostly fear. I won't lead my people by fear. They must follow me because they want to follow me, puppets. Lead by fear will not work out for me. As you say, Your Majesty. Your Majesty, said Yoshino. Are you sure this will work out? How certain are you that Konoha will not interfere with the battles? If they start fearing us, they too will take part, and we can't handle that. Didn't I tell you, said Naruto. Tell me what? I know that it was Danzo who sent people to try to assassinate the Raikage. If Konoha tried to interfere, they will be stopped by this news. I am quite certain that both villages will settle their petty disagreements and march straight over to the Leaf. That's a problem though. If they stop fighting, they will be able to send a bigger army towards us. Nagato will be able to handle it, but it won't be without loss. We want to make sure we suffer a minimum loss in this war. And if things change our strategy, we'll have to change as well. Then we simply make sure that Konoha doesn't do anything stupid, because we can't afford anything troublesome. But if we're pushed, we will be forced to use the airship. And people will know our nation as the nation that bring massacre in the battlefield. We don't want to do anything that destroy our good image. You're playing a gamble, said Nyoke, with a shake of his head. How are things in that sound? We must start moving things speedily now. That war is upon us, said Naruto. We have developed everything that needs to be developed with the sound, and we have placed a warning. Fear the Lord, it is close, but it has become a real village, not just a web of hideouts. We have crushed everything that has Orochimaru names in it. We must start thinking of changing the name. We can't use the same name that Orochimaru used, said Naruto in a thoughtful tone. We will work out something, said Yoshino. When do we begin the expansion? Now or afterwards? Afterwards, said Naruto. Time skip. Yuchito thought that she did something wrong, as she saw the stern look on the Raikage's face. With the current situation with the stone, things were not looking favorable. And as a top kunoichi of the village, she was already briefed about war coming. You want to see me, Raikage-sama, she asked. I have a mission for you, but first, you must know something. Naruto Uzumaki is the Emperor of Uzu. He is not dead. Apparently, even Konoha thought that he was truly dead. Yuchito blinked, shocked. That indifferent, blonde Uzumaki she fought, with Samui watching. He wasn't dead. Konoha had reported him dead. The whole Shinobi world thought that he had died. This was just more ridiculous. And now he was the Emperor. What else was alive? Was he even blonde? How, she asked. Well, one thing is for certain. He was Emperor when he came here. But not even Konoha knew. That was enough to make Ace smile. If he became the enemy, what is my mission, Raikage-sama, she asked. We still don't know anything valuable about their strength, because they have kept a tight ship. He thought that the village wasn't a problem because they were on the brink of extinction, so he never paid it much thought. The wave country is deeply connected with Uzu. Anything that passed the wave passed through Uzu. You're gonna go to the wave and kidnap the leader. You won't do the deed yourself, but a squad of special corps will handle it. As she processed those words rather quickly. You want me to act as a diversion for the real attack? Yes, that is your mission. You will receive a signal once they capture the leader, and then you can return. Any chance of encountering him? There's a possibility, said A. That is why I'm sending you. The wave doesn't have any real shinobis to protect it. And if Uzu react, they will attack you. They won't be able to stop the real attack. As the Raikage expected to fight the entire village, if she came across Uzu shinobi, it wouldn't be pretty. At least, she wouldn't be going alone. Still, she didn't want to face Naruto. He was not weak, and fighting him would mean the chance of her getting captured. How many men are you sending with me? A small group of 50. Our objective is a wave leader if we get him. We have access to Uzu. If you are losing, retreat. C will be offering communication from a safe distance. I will be careful, she said. When do I leave? Tomorrow morning. Time skip. Uzu. She was such a devious woman. Kurasaki's friend had sent him an invitation. She used friend because he used the word friend when they were speaking. Even if she was his friend, she was planning to stab him in the back when they meet up. He was gonna accept it, as he knew that something like this would happen. As he burned the letter and closed his eyes, resting his head on the palm of his right hand, his body was ready. He was gonna be fighting soon. Neri appeared and whispered, Kumo is moving, my majesty. We're not sure what their target is, but they're moving and they're being led by Yujito. As Naruto thought over it, go call Guren and Yoshino, and summon Naruhiro for me. Neri saluted and vanished. It's a pity that he would have to lock Yujito up in a cell, but he couldn't be helped. Yujito was a great asset to their strength. Her loss damaged them, but not so much that it would stop the war. It took a moment. You summon us, your majesty, said Yoshino, kneeling along with Guren and Naruhiro. As we speak, Kumo is marching towards Wave Country. This is a declaration of war, and we shall treat it as such. We are already at war. We have been at war with them since they defiled our home, said Naruto. As Guren wondered how Nero could stand next to Naruto like that without flinching, because his eyes, They were dead serious. This was not Naruto that laughed or tolerate with certain things. This was a serious emperor that gave commands. I will take the front line to defend our interests. Yoshino, your duty is to ensure the village is safe while I'm battling the enemy. We don't know what might happen while I'm away. For all we know, this might be a diversion. Goren, you know what you have to do in the wave. Yes, she saluted. Naruhiro, you will join me, in case Yujito decides to transform. For now, I have no interest in fighting. I'm fully transformed Jinchuriki. But you will not fight. I will do everything myself. Permission to speak, Your Majesty, said Yoshino. Are you offering a different way to deal with the situation? Yes. Request denied, said Naruto, as he lifted his hand, making them stand up. Naoki brought me a message from Kurosaki. She wants to beat me Tansuka in a week. Yoshino did not complain about his request getting rejected like that. It happens sometimes. Then things are proceeding well. Yes, I must buy Jerry a bottle of sake. He presented me with this wonderful opportunity. If I hadn't met her, things wouldn't be going this well. Indeed, said Yoshino. I will find one of our best bottles and send it to him. Am I missing something, said Goren. What is going to happen with the meeting? Kurosaki will try to kill the Majesty if she has a chance. Both the stone and Kumo have thrown their dices, and they will lose this round. Goren shook her head. She shouldn't be surprised that these people didn't look shocked that soon there was going to be an attempt on his life. Are you going to kill her? Asked Goren. He shook his head. It will be swifter to do so, but it invites a lot of anger and a swift response from the stone. We don't want Onki sending out all of his men to us. Kumo will do the same. And we would not survive such a war. We would certainly get crushed, and this time, he will make sure that we stay dead. I'm going to keep her as a prisoner. I wouldn't mind having her, said Goren. She's next in line to replace her grandfather. She knows the in and out of the hidden stone. I'm just quite certain that you just would enjoy torturing her, said Naruto. She's a spoil of war, Your Majesty, and anyone attempt on your life, it will not be forgiven. As she couldn't hide her smile though. You sadistic woman, said Naruto. But I will permit it, as long as you keep her intact. But you can make her talk. You may leave, he said. As Goren and Naruhiro leave, as Yoshino stay behind, I receive a letter signed by both the Kazekage and the Hokage, and, said Naruto, Temari signs come to this village for a diplomatic mission along with personal reasons. Are you assuming? Or it wasn't the letter itself, said Naruto. I was assuming. Your Majesty, you are not forgetting the laws that you helped drafted for the clan, are you? No, the clan laws are absolute, but I am still the emperor. I have some leeway because my word is law. However, when it comes to protecting our blood, there will be no compromise. But it still doesn't mean I can't have a relationship with her. I'm just reminding you of the limits. Temari cannot live here even if it does improve diplomatic relationship with the sun. I know, said Naruto. Time skip. A few days later, Yujito was looking at the bridge with a frown on her lips. The people that were supposed to head in had already gone in. As she looked at the great Naruto bridge, it wasn't that difficult to enter the country because it wasn't really closed from people outside. How's security? There's nothing, said C. There's no one. And it seems that they're just inviting us in. This must be a trap. Yes, likely. Waiting for us in the village, said Yujito. At least Naruto was not here if he was here. C would have sent him rather quickly. If anything comes up, I'll send you a message for you to pull out. Remember, Isama said that we cannot lose you. She knew that. As she held up a hand, as the shinobis in the trees flashed around her. Let's move out. C had a strange feeling. He didn't like this at all, but he did not say anything. As C jumped on a tree branch, as he leaned into the tree, as he checked his earpiece, two figures then landed beside him. C was shocked. He could not sense their chakra at all. They're suddenly moving. Indeed they are, said Neri. How long do you think it will take for the Majesty to finish this? Depends on his mood, Neri said. Eyes firmly on the village, as Naoki nodded to that. Then, it is going to be short. He didn't even put on his armor. Well then, let us enjoy the show. C was tense as hell. They were speaking like he wasn't even there. But he could feel it. Any wrong move and he would die. Do you think His Majesty will be pleased that we announce our presence to the enemy? Said Naoki. Are you planning on telling him? Said Niori. Or, we could just kill him. As he looked down towards C. As C tensed, as Naoki laughed. Don't worry. We just came to keep you company. We have orders not to interfere, even if the enemy try to flee. C narrowed his eyes. How generous of you. You might as well just talk about what you want to talk about. At least you have a sense of humor, Naoki said. Well, we don't know what's gonna happen. That is why we're here, watching with you. Meanwhile, on the bridge, Yujito stopped and stood in her man. Something was wrong. something was coming, but there was no information from C, nothing at all. It was then that she saw him, as Naruto was walking towards her, and he looked quite menacing. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted, and share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm all for now. See you guys soon. Peace.